are living a lie. The prophet H.P. Lovecraft wrote, "Though men hail it as reality, and brand thoughts of its many-dimensioned original as unreality, it is in truth the very opposite. That which we call substance and reality is shadow and illusion, and that which we call shadow and illusion is substance and reality." From the very beginnings of our lives, we are trapped by the limitations of our perceptions. We are prisoners of our feeble senses and simple minds. We are surrounded by an infinity of dimensions, but can comprehend 3 and barely grasp at the 4th. The so-called wise men will tell you that this is all there is. How could anything exist which cannot be observed, measured, indexed, or catalogued? Show me, they will say, where is your proof? But there is no proof their narrow minds could comprehend, because the very nature of beholding it would drive them to madness. It is only with careful study and reflection that one can begin to understand that which Yog-Sothoth revealed unto the prophet. The prophet was told how childish and limited is the notion of a tri-dimensional world, and what an infinity of directions there are besides the known directions of up, down, forward, backward, right, and left. Scientists with the most powerful microscopes and the largest telescopes cannot begin to see the vastness of realities that are all around us. Yog-Sothoth showed the prophet the smallness and tinsel emptiness of the little gods of earth and their petty human interests and connections, their hatreds, rages, loves, and vanities, their craving for praise and sacrifice, and their demands of faith contrary to the reason of nature. Only a very limited God indeed would have forbid his followers from even uttering the name of another God. How limited must they be if their followers are called upon to make war with one another to prove their might? The prophet was shown that while we have been taught to believe there are 3 dimensions, there are in fact an infinite number. Yog-Sothoth revealed to him that the denizens of the few-dimension zones called change is merely a function of their consciousness, which views the external world from various cosmic angles. As the shapes produced by the cutting of a cone seem to vary with the angles of the cutting, being circle, ellipse, parabola, or hyperbola, according to that angle, yet without any change to the cone itself, so do the local aspects of an unchanged and endless reality seem to change with the cosmic angle of regarding. To this variety of angles of consciousness, the feeble beings of the inner worlds are slaves, since with rare exceptions they cannot learn to control them. Only a few students of forbidden things have gained inklings of this control and have thereby conquered time and changes. But the entities outside the gates command all angles and view the myriad parts of the cosmos in terms of fragmentary, change-involving perspective, or of the changeless totality beyond perspective in accordance with their will. We are so limited in our perception that we think of ourselves as individuals without realizing the myriad ways in which we are connected to others. Yog-Sothoth explained to the prophet that all descended lines of beings of the finite dimensions and all stages of growth in each one of these beings are merely manifestations of one archetypal and eternal being in the space outside dimensions. Each local being, son, father, grandfather, and so on, and each stage of the individual being, infant, child, boy, young man, old man, is merely one of the infinite phases that the same archetypal and eternal being, caused by the variations in the angle of the consciousness plane which cuts it. All of us, at all ages, we are all our ancestors, both human and pre-human, terrestrial and pre-terrestrial. All of these are only phases of one ultimate and eternal self outside space and time, phantom projections differentiated only by the angle at which the plane of consciousness happened to cut the eternal archetype in each case. Now that you know the truth, you can begin your journey. The first step is accepting that the world you have considered reality is actually the prison of your limited senses and comprehension. The next step is the hard work of expanding your perception and mastering the techniques of controlling the angles of your consciousness plane. The final step is to find and open the gate.